So it's 12:30 a.m. and wow, the it's gotten quite advanced for me. Let me turn that down. It's gotten quite advanced for me, and I knew what multipass rendering was, but I never knew how much effort I had to put into it and how much work I had to put into it. I mean, I'm all done with the whole lighting and linear lighting, but you know, I'm down to the multipass rendering and I've got to figure that out. So I discovered that using having used Mia X passes, Mia Material X passes, it doesn't work with all the passes to set up. So if we go in the render settings, here are my passes, and under color pass, I mean, it only works with a limited amount of passes. So these are all the passes I can work with. And yeah. Yeah, but I can't work with all of them. And another thing I figured out was, even though I could get the passes coming out, why were my renders coming up black? I actually don't know if I have an example right now. Maybe I'll pause the video and show you guys later. But here, test passes. So here are all the passes that come out: specular, shadow, reflection, master, beauty, indirect, diffuse, AO. AO you can do, but it just needs a bit more setting up for the passes for MIX. So I was wondering, why were these coming out black? Well, I actually have no idea. So I changed to using a TIFF, an uncompressed TIFF, instead of using EXR, and that seems to work fine. So I'm going to stay with using those. And another thing I noticed is that I had to blow up the lights just so I could get some form of diffuse, and well, just so I could actually see what was going on, because even though they came out as TIFFs, they were still coming out black. And I realized that main reason is because in my main render, all I see is the reflection pass, and it actually reflected the whole world, that world area. It was, and that's why I could only see reflection instead of seeing beauty pass. So here, I mean, my knowledge of linear lighting, render passing, this is my first time actually ever approaching this. I mean, like, I've only spent about 3 weeks now. This by tomorrow it'll be by the end of tomorrow it'll be my third week having, done research on linear lighting and render passes. And this is all independent research. This isn't knowledge that I took from my lecturers, but I know that, like, the brief asked for a photorealistic. The brief for my assignment asked for a photorealistic render, and so this is what I'm doing with the material that they gave me. So my research is pretty much coming from digital tutors, and I'm constrained to using Maya and Mental Ray. But I don't mind. As long as I'm achieving a good result, that's all I really care about. Like, I believe that a lot of people have the excuse of saying, oh, but I don't have V-Ray, and so therefore I'm not getting a good render. I personally believe that's an excuse. Like, you can achieve a good result with Mental Ray and Like if you're using Blender was where I started when using 3D technology. I'm just speaking my mind now. But yeah, Blender was where I started with 3D technology. I achieved some really good results with that. I believe that it's only through sheer dedication and personal research that you're able to pull through. But the challenging thing about Mental Ray, though, is that it's harder to find the knowledge you need to know because I don't know. With Blender, I had an easier experience. Even modeling in Maya, I've had an easier experience finding research. But with Mental Ray, I don't know if it's due to lack of documentation or no, it's not lack of documentation. I mean, like I find less users using Mental Ray, and so I'm not able to ask as many people for help. I pretty much had to soldier on by myself, researching. Yeah, and the only reason why it's so low pixelated is because the test renders, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, I mean, a lot of this I had to do out of my own sheer effort, which was fun. And yeah, I'm glad to have gotten this far so far. But there's still a lot of work to do. I have to batch render the animation, do some more packshot design stuff for uni, add in the rain particles, which is going to take quite a bit of effort and research. So I hope I have enough time to do that. And just reminders like depth passes I need to add in, and masks for the multipath rendering. Also, if you want to check it out, this is my animation. So it starts out at frame 100, giving time for the rain particles to hit the ground. And then when that disappears, when that end cap disappears, it starts animating. That's the first shot. And this is the second shot. Oh, I don't have it animating. But pretty much the gist is that this camera will be something like that. And yeah, that's the end of my... That's all I have to share for now. But there's still work to be done. I only have this week there. I only have until the 10th. So that's this week, next week, and then the week after. Fingers crossed. Hopefully everything gets done.